You have no idea the amount of ignorance we're about to get into right now.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Black on Black Cinema. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
All right, guys, we're back. This is a preview episode for episode 163, Us. So this is the second in our, I don't want to say spooktacular because I don't like that term at all. But this is the second in our like around Halloween episodes. So we did two episodes to make sure they came out around this time. Obviously, the previous one, 162, was on Candyman. This one is on the 2019 Jordan Peele sophomore project, Us, starring Lupita Nyong'o and Winston Duke. This movie, if you don't know, is about a family, a mother, a father, a son, and a daughter who go on vacation, and things just get weird when basically their doppelgangers show up. And so this, again, like I said, this is Jordan Peele's sophomore project after he did the very excellent Get Out. So we will dig into this in depth next week. So if you haven't seen Us, we highly recommend it because we're going to spoil it right off the top and then kind of talk through it because that's important to do. So check that out. You can rent it. It's in any place you want to pick it up. I think Amazon or something like that. The random topic this week, however, is all about, unfortunately, Kanye West, because the only other news is about a chicken sandwich. And that feels way too stereotypical for us. Stop killing people over chicken sandwiches. It's ridiculous. Your ancestors are weeping. Okay, like this is insane.
It's literally the Boondocks cartoon. Like before, people were making the Boondocks cartoon comparison, right? But it was like, oh, okay, but that's a little extreme. I mean, ain't nobody fucking dying over this shit. And lo and behold,
everybody wants to be a massive stereotype. So Kanye West came out recently. Obviously, everybody knows who Kanye West is because we're not allowed to not know who he is anymore. And he recently came out. He's on his like uber religious bag. He's always been super religious, even from the beginning of his career. He's always been a Catholic and has talked about that, which is fine. But he seems to be, I guess, born again now. And he's sort of in this whole, like, he did a religious album, which I haven't heard because I'm not going to. One, I don't like gospel music. Two, I don't like Kanye West. But he also said a couple of things that were pretty interesting. And so we wanted to talk about not only the things that he said, but just dealing with celebrity, like moments of falling from grace, and how do you deal with that, right? Or how do we deal with it? We can't speak for other people, obviously. Micah, you are a religious person, so I won't go too deep into the religious side of this. But have you listened to his rap gospel album yet?
No, I don't listen to gospel music unless I'm in church.
Okay.
And even then, I'm only kind of half paying attention. If I'm being perfectly honest, like I couldn't sing a song other than like Amazing Grace and Wade in the Water.
You don't know This Little Light of Mine?
I know. I don't know the rest of the words.
you know the first part.
Yeah,
that's all I know.
I can clap on the right beat. That's about it.
Hey, you're 2/3 of the way there.
But no, I haven't listened to this. Honestly, I haven't really listened to an album since 808s and Heartbreak. Oh no, the one after that, the one with My Dark Twisted Fantasy. That's the last one.
That's the last one. That's the last one.
That's the last one I listened to, and the last one that I actually really enjoyed was Graduation. And I think that was like two or three albums before that. So I'm not a music guy. So before y'all come at me or whatever, I'm not a music person. I generally don't like listening to music with lyrics. I'm into my instrumental phase, but that was the last one that I really, really enjoyed. And look, this dude, I mean, you're right. He's always been a religious person, like, most black people are. And his first single was Jesus Walks, I think.
Yeah, it's a solid song. I like that song.
And I'm not here to tell anybody how they should live their life, especially if they say that they're born again and all that, because religion is a very personal thing, at least in my opinion, which is why I don't understand why people feel the need to just fucking tell everybody about it. But I guess that's part of it, right? Like, that's part of the religion. You got to spread it. That's part of the gospel, right? So, but this nigga, I've never understood the labels that we put on him about how he's a musical genius and like
that one. I never understood either. I'm like, I like his music fine, like I did.
Because you sampled Daft Punk, like that makes you a musical genius? Because you sampled Daft Punk instead of, the Shy Lights or whatever, like that.
But he also did that stuff too. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Like, so sampling is not it. He's not, in my opinion, a great lyricist. He's just not.
No.
But he does know how to make a good beat. He's a glorified Sean Combs. And does that make somebody a musical genius? Like, you're not composing nothing, are you? Like, you're not writing notes. I don't know.
Yeah, look, I'm sure the music fans will come for us. I would rather listen to Ninth Wonder sample. Like, I would much rather listen to his work than Kanye West's work. And that's not me saying I don't enjoy Kanye West's past work. I do. I don't put him in the category of a musical genius. I just don't.
Musical genius is just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I put people who are actual lyricists in that category, but he is not one. I mean, he's got some like pretty decent stuff and is fine. And I'm not going to pretend like I don't fuck with a lot of his early albums because I did. But I've never understood the idea that he is a genius. That's crazy.
I think Black Thought is a musical genius.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Yeah.
But Kanye, not Kanye West, yo. But I don't know. Look, Kanye is the best type of professional wrestler. That's
funny.
Because you don't know whether or not you're being worked or whether or not it's real. He blurs that line. Like, every time he comes out with something, I'm like, this nigga can't be serious, right? But at the same time, like, I can totally see him being serious. Like George Bush doesn't care about black people, right?
Yeah, that was very serious.
That was very serious. And then, like, that wasn't that long ago for someone to have a dramatic change and say that, oh, well, we're all brainwashed and Donald Trump is the guy to lead us into the fucking promised land. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Donald Trump is like a father figure to me. And whenever I wear this hat, I feel like I'm a Superman. Like, this is your genius? He puts on a hat and thinks he's a superhero. All right, yo. All right.
So I think we would be remiss if we didn't mention the fact that he is clearly a guy who has some level of mental illness, right? Like that is clear, and that is not. I don't take that as a joke. I really don't. I think he needs help.
I think he's bipolar.
Yeah, I believe he is.
I really think he's bipolar, and I'm not making fun of him. I know people who have bipolar.
Yeah, it's not funny.
It's not fun. It's not funny.
No, and frankly, it's not fun to be around either. And again, that is not to try to like be mean or anything like that. But when people are in their manic stage or their hyper depressive stage, like those are really tough things to be around. So for him and for his family, I do feel for them, like in that regard. That being said, we both know people who are bipolar, and it doesn't excuse certain behavior, right? Like, sorry, it doesn't. And to me, it feels like he's not on medication because you can see there are moments where he's like riding totally normal, and then he just comes out and he's just manic. Like he's just completely over the moon with his comment. I'm like, yo, where is any of this coming from? Right.
Right.
And I feel like he's kind of in a manic mood right now.
And he'll turn around and just look sullen and down. Like he's got the classic, manic, depressive, up, down, bipolar thing, man. Yeah. And everybody keeps saying, he's, they do what we do as black people. They write it off and say, oh, well, he's a genius, and geniuses are eccentric, right?
Like, no.
Or they say, oh, well, he's crazy. Well, the man's obviously not crazy, right? Like he may be strong in his convictions, but I don't know. It's not crazy. Like you can tell he desperately needs someone to intervene on his behalf, and no one is going to do it.
Right. I mean, there is something to be said about enabling, right? Like, okay, does this quote sound like a person who is normal functioning to you? I'm not telling nobody to vote Democrat. I love Obama. I love lemonade. I love Wingstop. I love polos. I love Jordans. Period. That is not that's not a comment. And again, that's not making fun of him. That's not a comment of a normal functioning person. That is a person that sounds very manic to me. He says the most racist thing, this part just sounds stupid. The most racist thing a person can tell me is that I'm supposed to choose something based on my race. I'm like, that's like a weird convoluted thing that's like your head canon. Like no one has ever told you to vote Democrat because you're black. No one has. And if they have, you should stop listening to them. You should vote based on, actually knowing policies. But, that's just me.
Honestly, I kind of believe him. I kind of believe that there was at least one person in his life growing up that said, well, I'm a Democrat and we're Democrats because we're black and Democrats help black people. I 100% believe.
Okay. I guess I can see that argument. I just don't, I think you should research things. Now, here's the thing. He's a big time like Republican now, I guess. It makes sense. He's super wealthy, right? Like it actually makes sense for him to be a Republican because he benefits from their policies. But his comment about how black people are brainwashed. Look, I was done with him when he went and put the MAGA hat on and all that. I have no sympathy for anybody who rides with bigotry. Like I just don't. And again, obviously a guy who's on medication or needs medication, but at the same time, I'm not responsible for that. Like I'm just not. I'm like I need to extricate myself from that situation. But for me, when he did that, I was done. But when he came out recently and said that black people are brainwashed that vote for Democrats, look, I'm not telling people who to vote for. Like that is not my thing. I am an independent. I am a very liberal guy. I tend to vote with Democrats. But that being said, I'm not telling black people who they should vote for. What I would argue is that if you're looking at the two-party system, there is one that has a disgusting view of black people that is just open and bigoted. And then you have another party that does a lot of things that are fucked up as well, but they actually are trying to give black people a chance. Are they both perfect, or is one perfect and one is evil? No, that's ridiculous. But to pretend that they're exactly the same is profoundly ignorant. So, and I'm certainly not going to advise, if someone was asking me, I'm not going to advise a poor black person to vote for a Republican. That's no. And I will happily challenge anybody who says that makes sense. No. To base that on any policy going right now. So just for him to refer to all black people as brainwashed because they don't agree with him is obnoxious to me. It's just, that's obnoxious.
That's the Republican like strategy, right? Like to unilaterally say you're either with me or you're not,
right?
And you're with me or you're my enemy. Like they don't like look at just look at politics now, right? Like anyone who is trying to start dialogue is stonewalled with no. You are either for me or you're against me. Like it's just I don't fucking know. Fucking politics is sports for nerds.
Yay! I love it.
But I my thing with him is just like, look, I get it, right? You, for whatever reason, you are Republican. I don't hate you for it.
Yeah, it's on you.
We don't see eye to eye, but to come out your mouth and say things like, "Oh well, you're brainwashed," like that's irresponsible. But it's the rhetoric. It's the same rhetoric that the president uses, right?
Yeah.
Like, you may not like me, but you have to vote for me. Like Trump said that. Yeah. You may not like me, but you have to vote for me.
No, I don't.
Right.
I really don't have to.
And what's disappointing is that when I remember back, when Kanye was, I guess, on medication. I'm just gonna assume he was on medication back in the day.
Right.
He was a little more socially conscious, and he's always been like a little kid in that I can't hold my emotions, whatever. I can't think about what I say. Like there's no filter. Like it just comes out.
Right.
The infamous George Bush doesn't care about black people thing.
Right.
That's a real ass moment. And for some reason, all of this feels staged to me. Like this feels like he's doing an Andy Kaufman to me.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that because,
and maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me being conspiratorial and
it could be.
My brain trying to make sense of something that doesn't make sense. Maybe that's me buying into the whole he's a genius. Like, well, no, you're not. But
right.
What if, right? Like,
but what if?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But all this feels like I'm getting worked.
Right. I mean, I can understand the idea of feeling like you're getting worked just because, you've got him being commented on and being boosted up by like Tucker Carlson.
Come on.
Right. So it feels like a grift to me. And look, I'm going to just, state my bias up front for people who don't know. Like, I'm an atheist, so I think a lot of the like, buy my new album because I'm like uber religious, that all feels like a grift to me, right? Because I think a lot of organized religion is a grift. Not believing in something. I'm talking about like prosperity preaching and all that other shit. That's all a grift to me. So it feels like he's trying to like weirdly get into that. So that feels like a work to me. I just find it hard to believe that a guy who used to roll with like Talib Kweli and shit like that is all of a sudden a MAGA guy, right? And it could just be he goes to whatever he feels is like the extreme thing that gets the response. I don't know, but it's just weird to me. It's very weird.
So that's the thing, right? Like, it feels weird, but at the same time, it doesn't feel weird to me. Now, let me explain, right? Like Kanye seems like the guy that was picked on at school. He seems like the guy that was allowed to hang around the cool kids because he did stuff for them.
Yeah, and I could see that.
And once his usefulness was over, they cast him aside. And that's what he never got over that. And that's the mentality that I see of him as an adult. Like, oh, Jay and Bay ain't fucking with me no more. Well, fine. I'm a take the most opposite extreme that I possibly can.
Right. I agree with that 100%. They were really big Obama people. I'm going to be a real big Trump guy.
Right.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
it just seems, and that's not healthy. I won't say it's not normal. It's not healthy, in my opinion, in my professional opinion.
As a guy on the internet.
Right. Part of me feels bad for him, and then part of me is like, nah, like this dude has lived his dream, and he has the potential, and he's. I guess it's not fair to say he's squandering it if this is what he truly believes. But if this comes out that all of this is a fucking grift, a work, he's playing us, all of this is fucking performance art, I'm gonna need that nigga to drop dead. Because this is not cool, yo. Like, this. I
don't think cool. Using people's religion as a grift is very cool at all.
It's not.
And again, I think it's all a bunch of nonsense. But I think people take it really seriously, and I don't think you should.
People base life decisions on shit like this.
That is correct, and that like that's
not something to be trifled with,
right? And like that's my whole thing. Like I'm sure there are plenty of like atheists or people who don't buy into this that would say, "Well, I don't care what happens to those people." I actually do, because I don't think it's fair to take advantage of people just because. Like I just don't, and while I wish people weren't as susceptible to those things, they are. And they are for various reasons. And I think their reasons can be positive. I think a lot of people's reasons are relatively positive. But I do think at the same time, there are people who realize how vulnerable those people are, and then they take advantage. And if he goes like full into like this religious thing, again, obviously he's always been religious, but full into like this gospel thing, and he's doing like multiple gospel albums and yada, yada, yada. That's going to be really weird when he goes back to songs like "You're Such a Fucking Hoe, I Love It." Like,
that's what he says, though. He says he's never doing that again.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't. I truly don't. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually feel slightly sad for Kim Kardashian, who is like with this guy. She's married to this guy, has kids with this guy, and he's like, yo, you shouldn't be dressed like that. Like, yo, come on, man. Yeah, do you know who you're married to?
She has parlayed her porn star career into the fashion industry. Right. So, like, this is what she does.
Right. You would. Yeah, you wouldn't know who like you wouldn't know who she was, and if it wasn't for her getting railed out by Ray J, like on video. It's a terrible lay, by the way. But like it's just, look, I'm gonna say this, and I mean it. I'm not gonna hedge on this. I truly mean this. From my perspective, and other people like me, you can ask Terrence, I'm sure he would probably agree. There is nothing more annoying than a born again Christian. There's not. And it's not because you're religious. It's because you judge everyone for their lives because you somehow have gotten yours together. Sorry, I wasn't a fucking drug addict, crazy person for 25 years and then suddenly found God and then I'm pious. Nigga, I'm normal. I'm fine. You people shouldn't be dressing like that and going to the club. Bitch, I wasn't the one doing coke off a hooker's ass in your last music video. That wasn't me. That was you. Leave me alone. So, yeah, no, there is nothing more annoying. There's nothing more annoying than that. And if you are a born-again Christian and you're not like that, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about people like this because there are more of them than there are of you. I can guarantee you. I have known many a born-again Christian who was an alcoholic or a drug addict. They are obnoxious. That's all I'm saying. Come for me. It's fine. I'm not going to read the comments on YouTube. I'm over it. That's my New Year's resolution. I'm never reading comments on YouTube again. I'm going to totally fail at that. But yeah, no, that's just my how to piss off people in exactly 24 minutes into the podcast. So you're welcome. Yeah, look, in all honesty, I'd like to see the guy get help. I would also like people to stop confusing not understanding something with genius. Like, just because a person says something that's really silly and you don't really understand it, that doesn't mean that they're smarter than you. It just means that they might be saying something that's silly and ridiculous that you don't understand.
Right. I mean, what's that? The name of that guy that I don't like, Terrence Howard. Like,
right.
That's like calling him a genius. Like, nah, he's not a genius.
Just because he said, he's opening the flower of conjugations or whatever fucking nonsense.
Right. Just because he perused a theoretical physics book doesn't mean he's a genius, yo. Like,
there are no straight lines.
Man.
There are no straight lines. There are no.
We throw that term around, man, and we don't know what it means anymore.
Yeah.
And there are no more. There are very few geniuses in this fucking world.
Yes.
And this nigga from Chicago ain't one of them.
No, he is not. He is not a genius at all. And look, again, you can just be really talented at what you do. That does not have to necessarily make you a genius. So, yeah, it's a little weird. All right, so next week we will we'll be back with our full breakdown of Us, and also remember to go to blackandblackcinema.com/submit to submit your ideas for movies. Follow the directions on the form. No more, no less. And if you don't follow the directions, I'm going to delete your entries. So please just follow the directions. You don't need to tell us about the movie. Just tell us the name of the movie. We'll find it. It's fine. So Us is one of the movies that was recommended to us. So thank you for the folks who put that on the list. So, all right, that's it for us. And we will see you guys next time.
Chicken sandwiches aren't worth dying over.
Agree to disagree. You're watching the Black on Black Cinema YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our full reviews of Black movies, past and present. And every other week, we do a preview episode where we talk about a random topic that affects the Black community.